You see, a moment earlier, one of Jiro's friends, Akio, had snuck into the school as well. And since then, he has been hiding in the third stall of the bathroom on the third floor, waiting for the right time to jump out and scare the living daylight out of Sakura. This whole time, Jiro was never genuine in his friendship with Sakura. It was just an act so that he and his friend could play a cruel prank on an unsuspecting girl who was desperate for a friend. And after Akio popped out of the stall, camera in hand, to scare Sakura, Jiro and his friend would have a video that they could watch and share for their own amusement. This is going to be great. But much to Jiro's surprise and Sakura's relief, moment would pass with nothing happening. Even though she was still scared, Sakura started to go more and more at ease. It was just a stupid urban legend after all. Outside the bathroom, Jiro is still watching the live stream and started to get confused. What the hell is Aki waiting for? Sakura on the other hand breathed a sign of relief. There! I did it there! I hope you are all happy. Sakura confidently yelled as she looked at the camera on her phone. She was just about to walk away when all of a sudden, a little girl voice from inside the stall would answer. Hi! Sakura's eyes grew wide. She was frozen in fear as she watched the door to the stall swing slowly open. She wanted to move, but she couldn't. All she could do was stare as she unknowingly continued to record what was happening. Outside the bathroom, Jiro continued to watch from his phone. Finally, Akio! What took you so long? But to his and Sakura's horror, what they saw inside the bathroom stall was something neither of them were prepared for. Blood was splattered everywhere. The toilet also began to overflow with blood. Sakura screamed. She finally mastered the effort to run, but for some reason, she couldn't. It was as if her feet were glued to the ground. When she looked down, she was horrified to see that the blood from the toilet seemed to have around her shoe, holding her in place. But before she could free herself, Sakura would see a terrifying sight. The head of a little girl slowly rising from the toilet. It was Hanako-san. Sakura would scream again, this time calling out to her friend Jiro for help. But it was no use. Jiro was too frightened himself to move as he watched on, not believing what he was seeing on his phone. Jiro watched as Sakura's live stream began to break up before finally cutting off. After a few moments of commotion, suddenly there was nothing but silence. Jiro could do nothing but stare at his phone. He could not think straight. Terrified, he started to run away. But suddenly, he started to think to himself that there was no way what he just saw was real. That had to have been some kind of special pickup or something, right? Did Akio and the guys somehow get in contact with Sakura to play a trick on me instead? Thinking that he most likely was just the victim of a prank, Jiro started to get angry. Of course, There's traitor, that's what's happening here. How could I fall for it? Not wanting to be mocked for being gullible, Jiro defiantly walked back toward the bathroom door. But even though he was able to convince himself that nothing he had just seen on his phone was real, he was still unsettled by the whole situation. Upon entering the bathroom, however, he quickly noticed that there is no blood or any red liquid on the floor. There was also no sign of any disturbance either. I knew it! It was all fake! He slowly walked over the third bathroom stall and carefully looked inside. To his relief, there are no splatter of blood anywhere. The toilet, aside from being really dirty, is fine as well. It was all just a prank. Suddenly, Jiro's phone made a noise. Upon looking at it, he see a notification about a private live stream from Sakura's phone. What the hell? But as soon as he does, Jiro would quickly regret doing so. Horrifying and ghastly image of what looked like mutilated and rotting bodies filled the screen of his phone. He would also hear screams of what sounded like people being tortured. He had never seen or heard anything like it before. A feeling of dread washed over Jiro. Even though he didn't want to believe it, Jiro was convinced what he was seeing and hearing on his phone was real. It was as if the live stream was coming from hell itself. As he looked upon the screen on his phone, Jiro thinks he sees somebody on the live stream that looked a lot like Akio. And to make matter worse, Akio looked like he's being skinned alive. All of a sudden, Jiro recognized somebody else in the live stream. It was Sakura. She was being burned alive and screaming for his help. Jiro, please help me. Hanako-san torturing me. Jiro, please help me. Without warning, the live stream goes dead. Sakura! Sakura! Jiro yelled before tapping on the screen of his phone 3 times. Sakura! Irasaimasu ka? There are many variations of the legend of Hanako-san. Some say she was a little girl who was playing hide and seek in the bathroom of the school when suddenly she was killed by an air raid during World War II. Another version says she committed suicide due to being bullied. And of course, there's the version that tells the tale that she was murdered by a stranger. But it doesn't really matter which version is true. The only thing that matters is if you're brave enough to do the ritual and see if you really can conjure up the vengeful spirit of Hanako-san.